Alright, time for the final round with the Rakdos control with the big black opponent. And yeah, I guess this hand's fine. Yeah, there does seem to be quite a lot of Gurmag anglers. I mean, you do obviously want to draw them, but you don't really power them out in this deck. So it's possible that you could get away with one fewer angler. Swift Warcliffs, this will either be very good or very bad. If they're playing Drake, like blue-red Drake, it's going to be very bad, as we're like a mid-range like attrition deck, and they're going to cast Mulldrifters and stuff. But if this is actually like a deck with Delvers, aka the Blitz deck, then I think we're going to be good. I guess we'll just have to find out. This is another hand where we really want to draw a third land so we can like cast our things. I wonder if this deck could get away with playing like 3 Read the Bones, 3 Night's Whisper, something along those lines. I'm going to addle them for blue cards. Then we'll see what's up. Yep, there's a Drake deck. So they have, I'll write these down. So definitely taking compulsive research there. They're quite far away from casting Drake. The removal spells, obviously I can't take them. Well, they drew it as a Boilerworks, so now they are no longer miles away from casting Drake. So I guess I can just take it now. Might as well use my mana for the turn. And yeah, time to start. Let's see, should I like cast Read the Bones or Chittering Rats first? I think we should just cast Read the Bones. I think it's unlike we knew they don't have a counter spell a second ago, and getting this going seems quite good. We already have enough removals, so we don't need to take Lightning Bolt there. And we wanted like 1 land so we can start chaining our spells a bit more. Didn't necessarily want the second one, but I guess it's alright. Sort of time walk them. I guess I could have just cast Gurmag Angler there. Yeah, probably would have been better. But I think what I think I wanted them to do is like use a removal spell on a Chittering Rat so they can't use both their burn spells on Angler. Yeah. Is this Archaeomancer? Okay. They're not getting great value out of that, but it's obviously better than nothing. So if I like Edict this, I can like make Gurmag Angler. Edicts are not very good in this matchup, but as long as there are Archaeomancers in the graveyard, it's kind of hard for them to go off. So they can like Flame Slash plus Bolt this to death. There's not a whole lot we can do about that. And hopefully this Read the Bones gives me some sweet cards. These are definitely not sweet cards for this situation. And we don't have any information about their hand at the minute. So time to draw some more Read the Bones and Ragers and Rats and stuff. Radiant Fountain, not actually relevant. And we're just playing a sort of Russian roulette where they draw like a compulsive research or a Mulldrifter, we're in trouble. I think I'm gonna addle them in case they drew counterspell. We need to make sure that our threats resolve. So they just have a mountain. Okay. So it's not completely out of the question that we win this game. Yeah, our opponent has drawn quite poorly. Oh, that's brutal. If they just have another land, we just basically cast Time Warp. Now, for all that we have the advantage for now, our opponent's still not playing out their lands. We're still we're not definitely winning this game yet. They can easily draw like Muldrifter into some stuff, but Gurmag Angler is quite a big beast. They are dead next turn, no? Oh, not anymore. I mean, I guess they still are, because I can Chain of Zedic them. And then bolt them to the face for the final point of damage. So let's see what they drew there. It's a counter spell. Well, this is why you try to hold on to these things. And I'll just bolt them. Well, we managed to steal a game there. Well, it was basically the Bajuka Bogs which did the work there, I think. Since they didn't get to like buy back compulsive research with their Archaeomancer, and that basically won us the game. So definitely boarding Pyroblasts. Cards which are bad here are Firebolt and Chainer's Edict's pretty miserable, to be honest. And as for things to bring back in, well, like Electric Ray doesn't do anything. You know, there's Gorilla Shaman, and I don't think we are going to be using this as a beatdown machine in this sideboard scenario, since they have actual creatures to block. Siphon Life isn't great, but it's better than Chainer's Edict for the most part, I'm pretty sure. Grotesque Mutation doesn't seem like it does anything either, so I guess we're just sort of stuck with a couple of Chainer's Edicts, even though I'm not happy about it. Alrighty. Let's see. It's not very good, but it has like enough mana. And it has some spells that we want. Like this is sort of a mulligan, but it's so even if we were forced to like play this on turn 2 and then discard a card, like just discarding Siphon Life would have been okay. But I guess here we can duress them and play Carnarium. Let's see, so they've got... So I'm definitely taking Compulsive Research, leaving them with, you know, some other divinations, but like Compulsive Research seems best, and Harvest Pyre I don't really care too much about at the moment. It's entirely possible that they don't want to fire off a Muldrifter just as divination, since they're going to have the time most likely to hit 5 lands for maximum value. But you know, it's also totally fine for them to just get +1 card. That's why like discard in general isn't that good against the opposing deck, since they just draw out of it. The bog is a nice one to have around, since we can like fire it off at some point fairly soon to try and brick some cards they draw. As for what I'm doing next turn, I expect it might change depending if I draw something relevant. Like if I drew like a Pyroblast or something, I would 100% be leaving that up. But I think what I'll be doing is casting Read the Bones to try and find it. Oh, okay, I wasn't expecting them to Harvest Pyre on that thing. But that's a-okay. Like normally the best use for Harvest Pyre is like a Gurmag Angler. Alright, so it's time to Read the Bones to try and hit like Pyroblast. But we failed to do that, so I guess we can just keep these. We have lots of lands here. I mean, like I could have just main phased a Bolt to not discard a card, but I think we're good. So the opponent's probably gonna like play like Drake Muldrifter, and they're gonna be up a lot of cards. I guess I could have just discarded Siphon Life, but it's more basically the same discarding land versus discarding Siphon Life. Because of the retrace can cast it for the same amount. So I think if we drawn Pyroblast, we could have been in relatively good shape. They're playing Seagate Oracle? I wasn't expecting that. I guess they're trying to slow roll their Drakes to get into a position where they can, you know, get Ghostly Flicker protection and that sort of thing going. But let's see. Definitely gonna addle them for blue. Alright, so since they've got like multiple Flickers and multiple Drakes, I think the best option is just to take Muldrifter. That gives me the best chance to be able to fight through their spells. I mean, I think this is the best option. They can't even get anything back with the Archaeomancer at the moment. And I don't think I can die. So let's see. Can I die here? So if I like just bolt this, then they can't draw cards even if they like go infinite on mana. I think that's safe, but I might be wrong. I guess I should have done that the other way around then. I should have Blick Bolted this first. Should have worked out ahead of time. I mean, they can certainly block a lot. But this sets us up so like next turn we can cast Read the Bones to try and hit sweet things. Like they're gonna generate like some mana here, and if they draw like a card drawing spell, I think that's great for them. But we need to get our Angler on the board to put the pressure on. Like I could have held the bolt for the Archaeomancer. That would, but then that's assuming they even like go for it next turn. This turn, if I leave mana up with no pressure in play, they really don't need to. Okay, so the opponent has resolved some things. And I'm going to go ahead and cast a Read the Bones. These cards, like Carnarium's not anything. Chittering Rats is useful, assuming they didn't draw anything good. Like it just stalls for one turn. That's basically good. It's basically ideal. So I'm gonna attack in. Like they might try to do some sort of gang blocking thing and blinking. Because, you know, if they just block with Archaeomancer, blink, then they can get the Ghostly Flicker back again. Now they do have 2 flickers, so if I just like destroy the Archaeomancer right now, then I think there's so if I like Pyroblast the Ghostly Flicker, then I take the Drake off the table, but then they still have another Drake. But if I remove the Archaeomancer from the equation, I think we're good. Oh, they drew a Dispel? Well, okay. That's pretty brutal. So now they get Ghostly Flicker back. They still don't have any like card drawing, but it's gonna be tricky. Shall we see? Yeah, if opponent has a nice clock in play as well. So between like the Ghostly Flickers, it's gonna be quite difficult to attack in and deal damage. Yep, opponent got tons of mana. We're gonna have to draw something pretty nice, I think. I don't think that counts as pretty nice. And yeah, I'll start with Read the Bones, see what my options are. Pyroblast and Addle. Well, I like these. Let's give us something to work with. So I'll go ahead and addle them for blue. Play Caves. Might well need more mana in the future. Get stuck in here. And they're not willing to risk their creatures this time. Because obviously if I have like a bolt or something, I can still nail Archaeomancer. Unfortunately, I'm priced into just holding this. I think, for the time being. So we know they had like 1 land, 1 Ghostly Flicker, and they have 1 unknown. So I think it's time to play Rats. See how the opponent feels about that. So it's either puts, so if they drew like a brick, then that's obviously amazingly good for us. If they are going to respond to this with Ghostly Flicker, we can respond again. because presumably they don't have too much going on. It's quite possible they put Ghostly Flicker on top of their deck to like protect it from a duress or something there. I mean, it seems kind of unlikely, but you never know. And if it is Ghostly Flicker here, I mean, they can play it and then put like Ghostly Flicker or Dispel on top in their hand again, but then I think that's still a-okay. So I guess I think I'm still good to not cast this. We're gonna like Siphon Life them next turn and then cast it again. So we're gonna undo this attack and we're attacking them for quite a lot of damage, so I think Pyroblast should be good here. Alright. So time to attack. I mean, if the opponent just takes a bunch of damage, they might just die to his Siphon Life. Nobody expects Char. Except it's better than Char. It's a Soul Feast right now. Okay, they are going for, like, you know, bunches of blockers. So I'll go ahead and stop that from happening. Siphon Life. The surprise Siphon Life. And if they drew like a bolt, then if that's what's on top of their deck, then I'm dead regardless of whether I gain a life here or not. So I'll save it for further retracing in case their hand was like a counterspell. No! How could this be? We're so close. I'm kind of surprised they didn't cast it already, but that's a shame. Yep, okay. Deck's still good to go. After having my heart crushed, thought we'd managed to navigate that game not too horrendously. Alright, time to go first. Well, I mean, this hand has a bunch of mana in it, which is sort of what we need. It doesn't have any pressure though, or card drawing. So as while Adult's good, I don't think we can keep that. I don't think it just doesn't do anything. This hand is like two of our worst cards. And only one land, so I have to mulligan again. And we're dead this game. We're 100%, no chance. Yeah, like the first hand we were just gonna sit there while they cast Compulsive Researches. Okay, I'll write these down, I guess. So speaking of Compulsive Researches, we have to take this one. We can't. I think we have to draw super well to win this game. Like we need to draw like Chittering Rats into like Meet the Bones. Hope our opponent doesn't do anything. I guess we can like Lightning Bolt our opponent's face here. So if we draw a land, we can make a Gurmagangler. Yep, I'll do that since we need to get lucky to win the game. We did not hit a land, but at least Read the Bones is good. Siphon Life seems horrendous. Arrow seems okay. Opponent just drawing multiple cards, making our game plan look foolish. I guess they might have just not drawn any lands. Wow, they didn't draw any lands? Well, that's certainly something I wasn't expecting to happen. So if we draw a land, we can play Addle plus Gurmag Angler, which seems like an appealing option. So the problem is, if we just fire out the Gurmag Angler, they can Harvest Pirate. You know, they can just remove these 5 cards, deal with our Angler, no problem. So I think we actually have to Addle them for like blue, and then next turn Addle them for red, or just go straight for red now. I think red. Like, we know that they have Harvest Pyre, and it's going to be great against us, given our hand. So, So, given that they have 2 counter spells, it's actually pretty awkward. Since we knew they had 1 counter spell, which we could take with the Addle in order to force Gurmag Angler to resolve. I can't imagine that they were going to miss on land there, but it's not a blue one, so we have something going on. Okay, so they don't have any answers to Gurmag Angler at the moment. And like their hand is like full of removal spells, like counter spells. So maybe we'll just get there. I still don't think my chances of winning are high. But if they, if they just draw some more answers. If this is just a Drake, I think we're okay. So I guess Lightning Bolt just gets dispelled, but the dispel is going to get me at some point anyway. Oh, they went for a Hydroblast rather than dispel. Makes sense. So their hand is like a Ghostly Flicker, 2 counter spells, and a dispel. I mean, Drake isn't that great by itself, so... I mean, this also gets dispelled, but... I mean, I guess we're working through the cards in our hand. Bam. We also, like, we can't win if there's an Archaeomancer on top of their deck. I don't think. I didn't play this first. Wow, I actually didn't expect that to happen. I didn't play this first because I was... they drew a Lightning Bolt? That's a disaster. Because I was hoping that they were going to use like Ghostly Flicker to fog. And that would have like gained them 5 life to try and buy extra time. But yeah, that's pretty bad for us. Gonna just keep this until we draw a threat and try and take the counter spell. I mean, this wasn't going to resolve anyway, because they could just counterspell it. But them drawing Lightning Bolt that turn, is pretty brutal. I needed them to draw a bunch of lands. I guess ideally we'll draw Read the Bones, because then we can addle them. Well, time to do some more addling. So I'll leave them with Ghostly Flicker. If I cast Chainer's Edict on them, I guess that either force them to use the Ghostly Flicker to draw a card right away, or lose it, I guess, or lose this rather, lose the chance to use this. We dubbed away a Chainer's Edict, but that's okay. Still have one left over. Are we doing it? Am I gonna have hope ripped away from me at the last second once again? They're on 3. They're dead to a Lightning Bolt or no blockers. They're alive to lots of things. Well, there's a Mulldrifter, so they're going to draw 4 cards and have a blocker. That's unfortunate for me. I mean, it's not especially fortunate for them in the grand scheme of things, since they have lots of card draw in their deck. And, you know, they've got quite a lot of mana as is. So, hopefully they can also just gain a life. So Lightning Bolt wasn't 100% lethal. But, you know, if I drew a Lightning Bolt and they responded with a Ghostly Flicker, it would have been lethal. So, gonna need to draw Read the Bones. Just every time, every turn, draw more Read the Bones. We'd probably play 6 Read Bones. What did they do with their... They bottomed with Preordain. If they don't have a way to stop me Chainer's Edicting their blocker out the way, then we've probably got them. They can easily have Counterspell. And they do. So I hope they also don't have Lightning Bolt, since there's no way I'm not attacking. Alright. Well, we're still alive. Unfortunately, so are they, but... I'm not going to play any more lands in case we draw our 1 Retrace spell, which I believe was on the bottom of our deck. But at some point we can... I think we shuffled in after that. I might be getting confused with a different game though. Well, another land for them. It's good. I think if they... I mean, there's still many cards that I'm dead to, but... Compulsive Research. And they put them out in their hand, so they obviously getting full value there. I guess we can also draw Firebolt, assuming we're not dead. If they draw Drake, they could easily like untap and do lots of bad things to me. Yeah, they got back their Haver's Pyre. Unfortunately, none of these lands were Bojuka Bog. So, bad times. And that's terrible. Yeah, our time for mising them, I think, has passed. We were close. We were quite close. We did about as well as we can hope for, like a multi 5. So I'm not too unhappy with how things went there. Opponent's got like tons of mana available, so if they just have Counterspell and Ghostly Flicker, then we're dead. The only way I think we can win is if they like play a Ghostly Flicker and I terminate the Archaeomancer, and they don't have Counterspell. So, but if they had it, then we're dead anyway. So. Oh, so they only had one card that they didn't know in our hand since they knew that we had a swamp from returning this. Oh, okay. I'm not gonna force them to am I gonna force them to play it out? Um, I guess it's not clear if they actually have. So they can make infinite mana, but they don't necessarily have other things to like. What if they demonstrate that they can draw a card, then they'll be able to draw their whole deck. And have infinite mana, and then I'll be dead. But if they didn't have any way to actually draw a card, it might be okay. Because even if they so they have another Archaeomancer, so I am dead since even if they don't go actual infinite, in which case I might theoretically be able to time them out. They can just put like counterspell and like ghostly like lightning bolt, counterspell in their hand, and I there's no point wasting anyone's time. So I mean, this deck was kind of sweet. Really needed a few more card drawing spells. Just to, I mean, that's what it sort of felt like. But not too bad, not too bad.